in your basement, you really have nothing to show for it, you know? But if you write something, now you have something, you have this document, right? That maybe you took a year to write, or maybe it was 6 months, and you can put it out there into the world, and you can hustle and get people to read it and see what kind of success you have. And to answer your question, I would say, once you're done writing that thing, think of the next one, you know? Because you have a little bit of control about what happens with that script, especially if you have an agent. You know, your agent's out there working for you and giving it to people, but you control your destiny by what the next script brings you. So I always say, it's like, all right, just like file that one away and start on the next one, because it could be, it's like playing for the jackpot in Vegas. You just don't know what script is going to launch your career. And I would say, let the story inside of you lead the way, which determines what script that is. It's like, try and figure out as a writer, what you want to say, and then figure out what kind of package you want to put in that. What I mean by that is like the genre, So I think that's really my answer to your question. It's like, just put that one away and go for the next one. Just keep on writing.
Yeah, from the time I first cold called Larry Kramer to The Normal Heart Getting Made, it was 18 years, I think. And I had no hope that would ever get made at all. It didn't. And the other HBO film I was involved in, Temple Grandin, it was 11 years from the time we first put that package together, pitched it and sold it, and the film getting made. So everything, you have to believe that the cream will rise, and sometimes opportunity has to wait. That's an example of me as a producer. For you as a writer, it's a very different story, because you might write something that you feel very passionate about, you don't get where you want to get with it, you put it away, you come back to it 2 years later and go, that's a piece of crap, I really shouldn't have been out there with it. Or you might think, I now know how to crack that and how to make that work and how to bring that to life. And we all know the stories of the filmmakers, the Academy Award winning filmmakers, who the film that was the pinnacle of their career was the first thing they wrote, and the first thing they made was the third thing they wrote. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Chris, on Dante's earlier point about embracing failure, perhaps on a daily basis, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's just those are wise words from your father. I mean, it's just a life's lesson, If you, I always tell my kid, this is going to sound kind of screwed up, but I always try to. I'm always secretly happy when my kids fail. I was trying to put, phrase it in a way that makes sense. Because when they fail at home, and I'm there to catch them, get a soft landing, at least they get familiar with that feeling, and they understand that failure is just part of the journey to success, And if you aren't comfortable with failing, how do you take those risks? Peter Roth, the head of our studio, whenever we have a retreat, he always says, if you haven't failed in the past year, then you're not doing your job. I need you guys out there taking risks. And to hear when your boss says something like that, how liberating that is as an executive, that your bonus isn't going to be, affected off. And it can't be a catastrophic failure. It has to be, an educated failure, of course. But I think that's just important to whatever we do in life, So I totally agree with that.
And one thing that came out when we were talking before we came out here, was that no matter what level of success you achieve in bringing a story to reality, a hit show for many, many years, that feeling of anxiety for seasoned writers and producer, that's not going away. You're going to have that at every stage.
It gets worse. I think it only gets worse. The fear, the dread. There's a writer I work with who just launched a show in the UK, to massive hit, and he said, "Oh my God, I couldn't breathe."